podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Oh, what was that noise? Was that sleigh bells? Why, it must be time for the annual No Question About That Christmas special. Ed, you look very festive in your Santa beard and hat.
Yeah, I've got a Santa beard, all right, although I have the benefit of not being that grey somehow. Don't know how that happened.
I don't know how you've got away with that, by the way. Like, you don't have any grey in your beard or your hair, basically.
It's just my pubes.
So on that festive note, I guess Man United.
Is that festive?
No, it's not. That was what I was going for. The United have played some games and stuff, and we do 2 podcasts a week now. But even the hardest working podcasters in the game wanted Christmas off, so we thought we would record a bit of a special in advance and put it out. So if somehow these awards have all been invalidated by things that have happened in
that's very true.
Yeah, between the 17th of December and whenever you're listening to this. It's entirely possible.
Well, I think our first category is going to be very hard for anyone to break into that.
Yeah.
To be fair. So, our second 2 categories, you never know.
It could happen. So over the last 4 or 5 weeks on the backers content on the show that you can get access to by going to patreon.com/NQATpod, obviously, we've basically broken down and discussed and debated all of these categories. So you won't hear any debate on this show today. We've agreed these things, and if you don't agree with them, that's completely fine. We live in a free world where people are allowed to disagree.
We're just going to block you, ban you, wipe you from the internet, something like that.
And I've just realised I might have written down one of the categories wrong, but I think these are the results of our deliberations. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the top 5 in Player of the Decade, Game of the Decade, and then finish with Goal of the Decade, and have a little bit of a chat about just about those players, really. Not so much why they are where they are on the list, because you can listen to all the content that we've done on the backers content about that. But we're just going to talk about the players and the goals and the games in and of themselves. So we will start off with 5th place in Player of the Decade. And this is basically about 7 players on a rotational basis, none of whom have been consistently good through the whole of the decade. I think we gave the award to Anthony Martial, but genuinely, literally, since we did that, Marcus Rashford has pulled at least level with Martial in overall contribution in the decade. And I've put / Chris Smalling.
Just to wind everyone up? Or
yeah,
what?
Exactly. No, we basically gave it to Martial, but essentially there's a lot of players. So I'll just talk a little bit about Anthony Martial's contribution to United this decade. There's been some really important goals. There's been a lot of moments of magic, and there's been kind of a lot of hope associated.
Young Martial is isolated. Skirtle here. Oh, yes! Welcome to Manchester United, Anthony Martial!
Martial, Herrera. Martial, chance to win it, he has!
But for the most part, as we know, the reason that a player whose performances have been so up and down can be on the list at all is because of how much turnover there's been at the club and all that kind of stuff.
Right. And just a lack of consistency all round, really, since 2013. And there's an awful lot of the decade.
Exactly.
Since 2013.
And most of the decade has happened since 2013. And yet Robin Van Persie is number 4th on our Player of the Decade's list.
Yeah, and he only had one good
But
season.
what a season it was. No player at United has had a season in the decade like Van Persie. I mean, you could argue that Rooney did near the beginning of the decade, but it didn't quite have the same feeling of utter magic that Van Persie's did. What a magical, marvellous moment in time it was.
Yeah, Sir Alex Ferguson's parting gift, as we now know it was. And look, a real shame that Van Persie couldn't carry on that form of that one season into his second. I think one of the things that everyone was worried about when Van Persie joined the club was his injury record, and of course that really did begin to bite in his second season at the club. Didn't get on very well with David Moyes, surprise, surprise. And eventually left for, where did he go to? Fenerbahce, I think I'm right in saying.
Yeah, but not at the end of his second season. That was at the end of his third season because he had an entire season under Van Gaal.
But hardly played a game, I think.
It was just mess. It was just very messy. But he played 105 times for Man United. It's a kind of remarkable amount to fit into one season. But he did it somehow.
All right.
So I'm pretty sure I've transcribed this wrong. And in number 3 position in Player of the Decade is actually Michael Carrick.
Yes.
So let's just have a conversation about Michael Carrick's contributions to United in the 2010s.
Yeah. So he joined in 2008, I think.
7?
For what seemed like a very large fee at the time, like £14 million or something like that. One of those tough negotiations with Spurs. Now, of course, it looks like you can buy a League Two player for £14 million, could you? He didn't immediately sort of become the player he wasn't immediately the player he eventually became, Michael Carrick, although he had a lot of the qualities. It took a long time for him to really embed himself into the team. And I think actually as he got older, he became more important.
Absolutely. I don't know why I said 2007 when it was definitely 2006, because in the summer of 2007 we signed Hargreaves, Nani and Anderson. But yeah, it was the summer before that. And then, of course, we did win the league in his first season here. And then we won the league and European Cup double. Then we won the league the following season, missed out a couple of times by 1 point and then goal difference. You know, he was a really important part of all that. But you're absolutely right. The time when he really started to come into his own, I think, was the back end of the 2011-12 season. And he'd had some like good performances before that, Roma, obviously. But I think his best season in a United shirt was 12-13, where, you know, there are people that will make this slightly facetious argument that he should have had Player of the Season over Van Persie. But
no,
I mean, come on.
Come on, people. But yeah, look, I think he had a really fine career at United. It wasn't always loved or appreciated. He's one of those players who doesn't do spectacular things. Although, look, Claude Makelele got huge amounts of praise and press, and he didn't do spectacular things. It took a while for Carrick to kind of earn the plaudits of United fans and of the press. He was deeply underappreciated by England managers as well. I think he ended up with something like 30 caps, didn't he? Just over 30 caps, which is ridiculous for a player of his talents.
I mean, especially...
But yeah, a really fine career for United.
Especially since there was no one better suited in the world to answering the Lampard-Gerrard question than Michael Carrick. Because what a three the three of them would have made if you just had Carrick holding. Anyway, that's not our problem. But the thing... I remember you saying something really important once on this show about Carrick, which was... the people who argue you don't understand football if you don't understand Michael Carrick go too far sometimes, and that it wasn't just that he was unappreciated because he didn't do the flashy things. There were also times when some of the things he lacked did cost United. You know, some of the lack of physicality and all those kinds of things were actually quite important.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure if you did the stats analysis, which I haven't looked back on, I don't know whether it's all available really on Carrick. I'm not sure he's going to put up all those mega numbers that really high quality defensive midfielders do. I mean, didn't make many tackles and interceptions and blocks and that kind of thing. He wasn't that kind of player. It's hard to categorise him in a sense. He did a very sound defensive job through his really astute positional play, I think. And his most important quality was just moving the ball very, very quickly. Obviously, a very fine passer, but just got the ball through midfield and made the team very cohesive. The kind of thing that we hope Scott McTominay might become. He isn't anywhere near there yet, and especially not on the passing front.
That's it, isn't it? Because that's Carrick's greatest asset by far is his passing, and that's the thing that's like sorely lacking. And it's interesting because he was surrounded by brilliant passers at United. Carrick was, but he had a particular knack of. I remember you saying when Ronaldo left, he really suffered at first. He was the player to suffer the most from Ronaldo leaving because. His game was so built on recycling possession and getting it to the forwards quickly. And as we became a bit less of a counter-attacking side, he had to find a new role in the team.
Yeah. All right, who's at number 2?
Wayne Rooney, obviously. I mean, you know, the problem with this list is it's almost entirely by default. That's the, you know, if we'd done a player of the decade from 2000 to 2009, it would have been almost impossible to narrow it down to 5 and to decide who I guess we'd have given number 1 to Ronaldo, but there would have been very, very, very strong arguments for Rooney, for Scholes, for, you know, even some of the players that had left a little bit earlier. You know, there's tons and tons of arguments to be made, some of the defenders, but there's no real argument for any of this. It was quite boring, actually, putting together the list.
Right.
But Rooney did have two absolutely outstanding seasons, a further really good season in the first Moyes season. His last season under Fergie, he was actually it made a vital contribution, put up numbers that would look staggering by today's standards.
Today, yeah. Although Fergie wanted to bin him off, of course.
He did. And we saw, you know, I mean, anyone that's listened to this show in its previous incarnation and was listening in the mid-2010s will know where we stood on Rooney's place in the side.
If you scroll back through any Apple Podcast reviews, you'll get quite a few of them complaining about our agenda against Mr. Rooney.
Yeah, but ultimately, second in the Player of the Decade stakes, it's an easy decision to make because, you know...
And then the choice of number 1 was pretty easy too, but it's going to trigger a lot of people. Paul Pogba at number 1.
So before we move on to the actual number 1 pick, Rooney scored a hatful of goals in 2 seasons. This decade featured his 2
30-plus goals.
Exactly,
seasons.
Yeah. And, you know, we never quite knew if he had those in him. And, you know, like many things, it was better in 2010 than it is now. But Rooney's 10-11 season was an absolutely majestic masterclass of, until he got that injury and was rushed back against Bayern and all that. He was in unbelievable form.
He was, yeah. I mean, I was going to say helped by, but I'm not equivocating the quality of his season, but it was helped by a change in position. He played up front. He played at number 9. He wasn't being played in wider positions or deeper positions. And he was, you know, and he had that all-round quality, of course, Rooney did, to be able to play in all these different positions. But he wouldn't have scored 30 goals if he'd been playing in different roles in the team like he did for much of his United career.
Absolutely, and I misspoke. Sorry, the season I'm talking about is 09-10, that first season after Ronaldo left, when he really massively stepped up. Then there was a season where Berbatov kind of came to the fore. And in that first season, that was, he was playing at number 9, but he was fully 9.5 still. He still did a lot in terms of overall creative work and stuff that first season after Ronaldo. But then there was the 11-12 season where he scored a staggering hatful of goals, but that was very much like a number 9 as a striker, fox in the box type player. But kind of amazing that a player could have a season of that level of quality as a number 9, who also had the level of quality he had as whatever he was in the late 2000s.
At his peak, Rooney could have played in any position. He's just a really, really high quality player.
Yeah.
Who sadly didn't look after himself and fell off a cliff physically, and it really impacted his game. But he'll be doing well in the Championship with Derby Did you see his unveiling recently?
I'm still annoyed that he's wearing the number of the sponsor on the back of his kit. That's absolutely disgusting. Modern football is rubbish. But Wayne Rooney, absolutely not rubbish, although he was quite rubbish for some of this decade, but so good for the bits that he wasn't that he easily is number 2 on the list. And number 1 is, of course, I mean, there's just, I don't know how there could realistically be any debate. I mean, this decade has had 10 years in it, and in 3 of those years, the player of the season was David De Gea.
It feels like it should have been more than 3 of those years.
Yeah, it does, but it was the Moyes season and the 2 Van Gaal seasons where he was outright player of the season. And I think actually in Mourinho's first season, he did an incredible job of keeping, of like, you know, he made a lot of very big saves in that first season as well.
Yeah, we had a lot of debate on this here podcast about just how many shots United gave up. But yeah, look, he's had a stellar career with United. He keeps, despite all the speculation, keeps committing to the club. He was a fax machine away from departing for a very small sum at one point, and he, I guess, would have done it if the paperwork had been signed. But the way he talks about the club, he's very happy in Manchester. I think he'll be saying he's just signed a new 5-year contract. He's going to be here into his 30s. And for most of his time at the club, he's been excellent. Had some shaky times when he first came to the club, just getting used to the difference in the nature of the game over here. Some of those weaknesses are still present, of course. You know, he's not the perfect keeper, but he's a incredibly high quality. Show me a perfect keeper, because I'm not sure there has been one. Incredibly high quality and standards. Dropped off for the last sort of 6 months or so last season when he was happily chucking it in his own net. But he's back now. And actually, United have been pretty solid when McTominay's in the side and giving up a lot fewer shots. And he's actually making fewer saves at the moment. David De Gea, although his save percentage is right up there, as you'd expect.
I feel like the thing that, you know how you get blasé about stuff when you see it a lot? That one of the things that in 10 years' time, when we're watching YouTube compilations of David De Gea's best saves, we're going to be crying tears that we saw this in real life. Like, the stuff that he's done, it's been miraculous. So, well done, David De Gea. I mean, you know, badly done, Man United, that the goalkeeper wins player of the decade by default. That's very unfortunate, but we know it's been a difficult decade. And, yeah.
So after this short break, we'll be getting on to our next category.
Game of the decade. So this one took 3 full weeks of about half an hour of content. About 90 minutes worth of conversation has gone into distilling this list. So if you've got a problem, you can listen to why it happened. All the answers are there in the back as content. But
yeah, I mean, like, it's not what you should be doing, but you could just back us for a month, download them all, listen to them all, and then stop backing us. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Although
don't do that.
What'll happen is you'll enjoy it so much you'll be like, oh, I'm gonna stick with them because this is too good.
Let's talk about number 5 on our list then, and definitely the funniest.
Yep, I'm laughing just thinking about it. So if I was to say to you, Danny Welbeck brackets 22, Ashley Young brackets 28, 90 plus 1. Wayne Rooney brackets 41, 64, 82 pen, Nani brackets 67, and Jay Park brackets 70. Would that ring any bells, Ed?
Quite a few, yeah. 8 of them, maybe.
Lovely little ball in, looking for Welbeck! Danny Welbeck's dream story continues. What a week he's had. Now here's Arshavin. Walcott gets, goes down.
No, that's nothing.
Penalty, he's given a penalty.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Here comes the Dutchman, Van Persie. Great save for here. How to make yourself a United hero. Looking for Welbeck. Will it fall for Nani? It's guided away by Traore to Young. Young has a go. Great curler! Oh, sensational! Ashley Young's first goal for Manchester United. It's Rooney who takes it. Rooney! Brilliant! Outstanding! And Arsenal have been ruthlessly swept aside by the champions. 3-0. Now Rosicki. And it's opened up here for Walcott. Through the goalkeeper and gives Arsenal hope. But it is Rooney. He does try it again. Oh! Sensational! Rooney looking for the hat-trick, remember. Nani's clean through, surely. Delightful. Absolutely delightful. Well, there's just a celebratory atmosphere at Old Trafford. This could be any score. Here's Park. Young takes on Jenkinson. Back to Park. Ji-sung Park! Arsenal's nemesis has struck. And Arsenal have been hit for 6 at Old Trafford. Back into the danger area again. Van Persie scores. Tracy's got Chicharito over the top. Chicharito just couldn't control it properly, but he still goes through. Oh, Jenkinson in big trouble here. Surely Jenkinson's got to go. And Walcott's an emergency right back at the moment. Park. Oh, Everett's got a long way.
Oh, penalty.
Pushed. Penalty. And a chance for Wayne Rooney to get his hat-trick. Rooney steps up. Hat-trick! Arsenal. This is Young onto his right foot. Young! Oh, stunner! We've witnessed something quite extraordinary at Old Trafford this afternoon. Manchester United 8, Arsenal 2.
Absolutely, unbelievably, ridiculously, wonderfully, joyous, stupid, bizarre, magical, nonsense, beautiful nonsense game of football. Manchester United 8, Arsenal 2.
Let's just go through some of the individual performances here. Wayne Rooney, 3 goals, 1 pen, hit the crossbar, 1 assist. Ashley Young, 3 assists and 2 goals from the left wing.
That's like 50% of his goals and assists for his whole United career.
Yeah, something like that. 2 classic Ashley Youngs, swinging them in from the left into the keeper's far side. Who else scored? Nani scored in this one. Welbeck scored, your boy Welbs. What's happened to... Is he still alive?
He's at Watford.
So no.
Bottom of the Prem. It's just not fair. I mean, this was we've talked a lot about the beginning of the 2011-12 season, and it will come up again, spoiler warning, during the goal of the decade conversation. But the electric start to that season, we beat Tottenham 3-0. We ended up beating Bolton 5-0, but this was Cleverley and Anderson in the centre of midfield. This was Welbeck and Rooney up front with Nani. This was electric. This is one of the few games where we didn't soak up pressure and hit Arsenal on the break because something was very badly wrong with Arsenal that day,
Yeah, it's very true, but one of the most bizarre stats about this game, 8-2, United took 25 shots, scored 8 goals, right? I mean, you're like, all right, you're going to have a huge amount of shots. How many shots do you think Arsenal took to get their 2 goals?
2.
20.
Wow.
20 shots Arsenal had in this game.
Absolutely insane. You got the possession stats in front of you.
Yeah, 56-43.
Right.
And change.
Yeah. Just what an insane game of football. I remember being quite nervous in the build-up to this because this was a big season and City were a massive threat and there was a lot going on and there was a lot of hope riding on this kind of very new look, very fresh-looking side that had obviously, we'd suffered the kind of crushing defeat at the hands of Barcelona, and there was a lot of chat everywhere, but we talked a lot about this thing that Fergie had said about kind of trying to get closer to Barcelona. And actually, at the beginning of this season, it genuinely looked like we were really on the right track towards building something new. And there was this kind of like really fast interchange of passing and movement around the box, that we'll talk about later. But this was a thing at that point, and this felt like, oh my God, something really special is happening here.
Yeah, and it certainly did for the 90 minutes. And of course, on the Arsenal side, none other than Robin van Persie scored for Arsenal.
Yep.
Amongst who else scored? Theo Walcott. He's still alive as well, just about.
Yeah, absolutely. Carl Jenkinson, who was absolutely terrible in that game, I remember, got a red card in the 77th minute. But one of the world's most ridiculous ever, literally, without any hyperbole, one of the most ridiculous football matches that's ever happened. And we won it 8-2. It was brilliant.
Number 4 on our list, we had a lot of debate about where this should go in the top 5 or whether it should be in the top 5 at all, because this one is not a very high-quality game of football, in truth, and United didn't play very well in it. But United's win at Paris Saint-Germain last season still deeply resonates, doesn't it? Just a magical moment and night that no one really expected, and just the drama of how it all unfolded.
Well, it looks like mission impossible for Manchester United on a rainy night in Paris, into the Lions Den of the Parc des Princes, with at least 2 goals needed tonight against a team many feel could win the Champions League this season. There's a bad ball, here's the chance, it's Lukaku, and he's around the goalkeeper, and he squeezed it in, and what a start that is for Manchester United in Paris. The man in form, the man among the goals, has a big one tonight in the Champions League. Marquinhos, now Draxler. There's Mbappe on the move, he got it through, Smalling, it's gone right the way through, and Wangba now with a tap-in, made by Kylian Mbappe. They'll check it for VAR, but it looks like Manchester United's lead, their early lead, has disappeared already. Here's Andreas Pereira, and now Rashford, supported outside him by Shaw. He's got himself, spilled by Buffon. Oh, they've got another one! And it's him again, Romelu Lukaku, who scores 2 goals in a game for the 3rd game in a row after a howler from Gianluigi Buffon. Rashford, now Dallow's thinking about the shot, that took a deflection, it's a corner. The big man forward. Just taking a look at the ball that did collide with the arm of Kimpembe. Oh, the referee's going to look at it, Steve. What a moment this is. Wow. My word. How do they see it? The Manchester United supporters are holding their breath. Penalty! It's a penalty to Manchester United! How's your bottle? Oh, he smashed it in! What a penalty from Marcus Rashford! Manchester United with another glorious night in the Champions League. United heading through to the quarter-finals. Marcus Rashford, the coolest man in the place. Romelu Lukaku with a header.
He couldn't have passed it to Lukaku any better there, could he?
The full-time whistle. And Solskjaer has won it. And you've heard that somewhere before.
Yeah, I mean, everything. So this was like peak me not being on Twitter. This was, and I reactivated my Twitter account that night because I just wanted to be around United people, and the sheer outpouring of joy, all the horrible nihilism and fatalism of late period Mourinho had already been kind of blown away. But then that Paris Saint-Germain game at home had been a real kind of bounce down to earth with a bump thing, which, by the way, proved to be extremely accurate for where we were actually at as a football club. But that's a side note. For those kids, all that injury ravagedness, even like Fred coming back and being really effective and good for the first time in a really long time, and then just Marcus Rashford taking that penalty with the composure that he showed. And I can't think about that penalty without in my head playing a montage of injured Man United players' Instagram stories about it. This game, I just think about this game and I instantly hear Anthony Martial incredibly intensely screaming "Le caractère."
Come on, watch it. C'est ça, mon gars! Putain,
means. I love you, lad. Whatever happens, I love you, lad. Come on. Come on, you.
Top right.
Jump, 90 minutes, that's when we regain. United mentality, come on the boys. Come on the boys. Get in there, you.
Manchester ici. Voilà. I love this game.
Some notable performances. 2 goals from Romelu Lukaku.
Who's that?
Yeah, who's that? Who? Scott McTominay and Fred in midfield, both of who had immense games in one way or another. Pereira played in this game. Perhaps he didn't really impact the game. Was one of the ones that was pulled off late on for when all the kids came on. Delo came on. We haven't seen him in months, have we? Greenwood, who we've seen a lot of recently, and Tahith Chong. You'll have seen that picture of all the youngsters sort of screaming after Rashford scores the goal. Great moment. Just a we talked a lot on the Backers pod about why it ended up as 4th, because there are arguments it was number 1 because it was just so dramatic, but ultimately it just kind of meant nothing because United got spanked in the next round. It didn't win United anything. It wasn't a particularly big game. It was a quarter-final.
But it was absolutely magic, and that magic is very much worthy of a place on this list. So, in 3rd place on the list is a game that possibly meant a little bit more in terms of its overall impact on United's place in the final table that season. And it is, if I just say the words Dimitar Berbatov hat-trick to you, Ed, what image does that immediately bring to mind?
United haven't had much success in corners so far in this game. What about this one? Berbatov! Great time to score! Dimitar Berbatov late on in the first half, and United lead. United 1, Liverpool 0. Nani will keep this in comfortably.
Took him on as well.
Takes on Konchesky. Berbatov. Oh my word! That's incredible! That is genius! They'll be showing this goal for years to come. What a start to the season he's having. Pure class from Dimitar Berbatov. Cole. Torres. Here's a chance. Torres goes down. Penalty. Penalty is given. Linesman gave it. Johnny Evans penalised to get his team back into the game. Gerrard. Terrific penalty. Sent Van der Sar the wrong way. Liverpool back in it. It is Gerrard! For the second week running, United have thrown away a 2-goal lead. Everett, Rooney, Scholes. Is he going to have a go? No, he doesn't. He finds O'Shea. O'Shea's ball in. Berbatov! Hat-trick! Incredible game! Incredible! Dimitar Berbatov makes it 3-2. Is that going to be the winner?
The chipped cross, the cushioned ball on the thigh, and the completely unexpected overhead. Just magic.
What a performance.
And it, not only was that completely unexpected, his 2 other goals were headers. When did Dimitar Berbatov head a ball?
I was listening to the Official United podcast, which is really good, by the way. And they interviewed Berbatov, and he took and I didn't remember this stat, but it was the first time for like 40 years that someone had scored a hat-trick in a Liverpool-Man United game. Like, Forlan is an absolute cult hero for scoring a brace once. Berbatov scored, not only did he score a hat-trick, but we were 2-0 up. Steven Gerrard, I think, scored both of their goals, kissed the camera to bring it back to 2-2, and then Berbatov scored again with the header to win the game for United. Just electric.
Yeah, there's so much happening in this game. He scored a penalty, Gerrard did, and then deflected free kick to bring it back to 2-2. Jammy, but Berbatov headed home for the winner.
Honestly, Stephen, funny bad things happening to Steven Gerrard. I'm not a person who thrives on Schadenfreude, but I will make precisely 2 exceptions to that rule. One is him kissing the camera, and the other is the game that is number 2 on this list. 22nd of March, 2015. Juanfield, baby.
Delaney again. Under Herrera. Mata's making a run. Fine ball for Juan Mata! 1-0. Well, they've been on top, and they've got a goal to show for it. Manchester United at Anfield. Director dining. We've got the crowd going already. Up for it, challenge. United might say the foot was up for it.
Well, I think he's on for more reasons than one, Steven Gerrard.
Oh, no. Look at this. No sooner on than off. Sacco, here's Mata. Now Di Maria, Mata wants it back, gets it back. Fantastic! Absolutely fantastic! Down the years in this famous fixture, there won't have been too many goals like that.
You know what? Everyone remembers the second goal, the scissor kick. So Di Maria's chipped pass through and scissor kick, and look on little Juan's face as he scores. Couldn't believe it. But the first goal's a really fine goal as well. Nice team goal. And Juan Mata finishes with his right foot. What's going on there? He's got one.
I mean, not only does he have one, but he ran the game with it. Like playing on right wing, false winger. This is the height of the brilliant Van Gaal era, where we've got the 3-0 against Spurs and the 4-2 against City. But this was the one. I mean, you mentioned the look on Juan's face, the look on Ander Herrera's face with both hands on his head as he runs behind Mata celebrating the goal. And in the great photo of that, you can see the United crowd going just as ballistic as you would expect at having seen what they've seen. And you'd think that was the peak moment of the game, an absolutely genius scissor kick to put us 2-0 up. But what happened in the second half, Ed?
Well, quite a lot of drama. I mean, firstly, Daniel Sturridge scores low down to Dave's left in the, in the zone, that Dave might have saved that one. No, not having a go at him, And then they send Steven Gerrard on, substitute. And, clearly with a word from the manager, get stuck in, win us the game. Come on, Steve, you've done it before. Get us back in this game. And he's amped up to 11. I mean, there's absolutely no chance he's not flying into someone. And he does, Like, almost first thing he does is clatter someone. Does he get a card for the first one? Can't remember if he does or not. But no, maybe not. And then it's just seconds later when he's just flying in again. And then he gets all stampy. And just 40 seconds. What is it? 38? They timed it out.
I think it's 48 seconds. And that's kind of one of the things I love about it. It's just very rare that you can watch the highlights of a performance, an entire contribution to a game in one 48-second unedited sitting. But you can with this. Like, one of the funniest things in the world is watching it on fast motion, because he just comes on, runs around, crunches people, and then gets sent off and has to leave again. It's just tremendous. What a game of football! What a game of football!
Just so much happening. Quite a lot happening in this next one as well. Our number one game of the decade. We debate this a lot, but I mean it's just fabulous. There's absolutely everything in this. So talk us through what happened in this game then. 3-2 to United in the end. But that's only telling part of the story, isn't it?
Let me set the scene. The year is 2012. Some bad things happen featuring Manchester City and Manchester United that we shan't go into. But immediately after that, Alex Ferguson gives a speech at the end of the season awards and he says, I'm a dinosaur, but what I am is I'm a winner. And the place goes absolutely ballistic. He tells the story of the Sunderland fans jeering and says it reminds him of when Liverpool fans asked Ryan Giggs for an autograph and then tore it up in front of his face. And he says, use that, son, use that. And he's telling Phil Jones, use the Sunderland fans taunting to guide you to bigger and better things. But not just Phil Jones, but the entire team. Then he's like, right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that I sign Robin Van Persie instead of them. And then Van Persie comes and he starts giving it all the little kid inside me told me to sign for United. And he keeps talking about how Scholes and Giggs are like unbelievable champions. And the whole thing, that everything changes. We win every game after like going behind and we're winning 3-2 and 4-3 every other week. It's all glorious chaos and it's all building up to this. This time we are going to City. The season before they'd beaten us 6-1 at our place. Like this was a frightening thought at this point going to City. But what happens? We show up.
First against second. All the ingredients are here for a classic Manchester derby.
And in the first half, I haven't watched the highlights back because behind the scenes we had to start recording this all of a sudden. I was going to watch the highlights back of this game, but my memory of it is that Wayne Rooney was absolutely brilliant in the first half of that game.
Yeah, well, he scores the first 2 goals. Neither of them a clean strike, I might add. Shanks the first one in. Low to Joe Hart's right.
Counter-attack. This is promising. Rooney cleverly up with him. It's Wayne Rooney. Onto his right foot. Rooney! Oh, it's gone in! He didn't strike it particularly cleanly. He wrong-footed Joe Hart. And United take the lead in the derby. It's Wayne Rooney against City again. City 0, United 1.
Joe Hart, he's still alive.
I think. Just about. I don't know who he plays for anymore.
No idea. He was at Burnley, wasn't he?
At some point he was at West Ham as well, but no idea where he is now.
Yeah, I'm doing the shrug emoji. No idea. And then he doesn't hit the second one clean either, which goes in the same corner from a little further out. But yeah, Rooney brilliant, scores 2 goals. United going to win. No problem at all. Until City come back into it in the second half. And before Toure scores the City's first goal, but the 30 seconds before that, it's madness because Dave pulls off 2 absolute double wonder saves.
I remember this now. Yeah, I remember it's
how a pinball machine in there, and he's stopping every single thing.
I remember how deflating and disappointing it was when one ended up back in the back of the net, and it almost felt like our brave resistance has been overcome here, and it's only going to go one way from here.
Yeah, it really felt like it because not long after that, corner to City, swings over, cleared out, Zabaleta edge of the box, slams it in.
Honestly,
a fullback.
Silva's got options left and right. What a terrific save! And what a double save! Unbelievable from De Gea. That's outstanding. It's not clear yet though. City back in it. United bring everyone back. In it comes towards the near post. Headed out. Free shot. It's goal. It's 2-2.
I said I didn't watch the highlights, but I can see that so clearly in my mind's eye because it was so scarring. And I think that was it, really. That was the league title. Probably it's going to be going to be really hard to win this league title back. Oh, God, the incredible scaffolding celebrations are going to have to wait. Or are they?
Carrick. Oh, Raphael's clipped. Free kick. Now, is this set up for Robin Van Persie to bend one into the top corner, I wonder? Van Persie, the angle of this, with his left foot.
Make a name for yourself, Robin.
Van Persie then, in stoppage time, in his first Manchester derby. Van Persie took a deflection. Oh, he's done it! It's Van Persie! Thank goodness he chose red over blue. It's City 2, United 3.
I mean, it's just completely set up. It's like, I don't really believe in some kind of, preordained fate, but this is the one where they say, this was written in the stars, this is fate. Who got bundled over? I can't remember who got bundled over for the free kick.
No idea.
But it's free kick sort of just a bit to the right of the D, just perfectly set up. And Van Persie waits, and he waits, and he waits, and then... bang!
And then he sort of like fairly limply curls it into the wall and Samir Nasri dives out the way.
Yeah. It takes a little flick off a boot and that beats Joe Hart. But still, it's the moment.
And then the celebrations, just blood running down Rio's face. I think that they'd let off a flare, so there's all this blue smoke in the background in all the photos as well.
Just adds to the drama and the
cheers,
atmosphere.
Lads. Yeah.
Van Persie runs behind the goal going absolutely apeshit.
Oh, it feels good to think about it. I'm not going to lie. I've got good feelings in my body right now. Yeah. So that is the game of the decade and a worthy winner, I think.
And if you think it's something else, you're wrong.
And if you think it's a game that's not on that list or one meant more to you, that's absolutely fine. But this, like I said, this is the result. That's 90 minutes of debate condensed into 15 minutes of chat right there. Right. We'll take another little break and then we'll come back with the last category.
Enjoying No Question About That? If so, let others know about us. The best way to do that is leave us a review and a rating on iTunes and hit that subscribe button.
Okay, this is the category I most wanted to talk about because I don't know, for some reason, this is pretty obvious, right? But one of my very favourite things to do when it comes to football is just talk about goals. And here are 5 absolute bangers. Like, again, lots of debate got us to this point, so don't worry about the why of it all. Let's just celebrate the glory of it all.
All right, so number 5. It's Manchester United 2, Sunderland 0. It's very near the end of the game.
It's about to be something it's about to be like one of the most routine games you could ever imagine in all your life. It's about to go into folkloric history for absolutely ever.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Mkhitaryan in the middle! That is special! This famous stadium has seen some wonderful goals down the year. That is right up there.
Cross comes over. Mkhitaryan does a madness, somehow twisting his body in the middle of the air to flick it into the net. The referee sends it over to the touchline and VAR rules it out.
So, fortunately, we live in a parallel universe where the evil that is VAR ruling out VAR correctly ruling out goals for offside has not yet begun. So I think it's Valencia finds Zlatan Ibrahimovic on the right. Ibrahimovic's cross is excellent. Mkhitaryan's run has just taken him slightly ahead of the ball. Is this a problem for the Armenian? No, it is absolutely not a problem for the Armenian, who, he hasn't hit his Borussia Dortmund form at any point since then. And I did once hear a rumour that other United players, when he first arrived at the club, spent quite a lot of training looking at him, wondering if he was a competition winner. So poor was his performances in training. But in fact, he's a football genius. And this moment proved it.
Through 3 phases of play, he's in the number 9 role and Zlatan is wide. Which doesn't make any sense, but he was, and he was there at the right time to do that. And God, what a travesty it would be to rule out that kind of goal.
I mean, yeah, an absolute disgrace. But it was it was a thing of pure beauty. And as I say, every time I talk about this goal, it's one of those where you're kind of so glad you were there. And for some reason, I could see what had happened live. And everyone in the stadium could see what had happened live because the noise the crowd makes begins with the letter O. It doesn't begin with Y. That's like, I love a goal where O comes before yes.
Well, look at Zlatan's face. He's like, what has gone on there? I didn't score that one.
Yep. Number 2 is another goal where the person watching it pulls an amazing face. We just talked a lot about it, but in slightly... Number 4, sorry, I said not number 2. Number 4, the fact that this is the 4th best goal of the decade shows you how amazing the top 3 are. The Di Maria float, the only way to beat Liverpool's kind of advancing offside trap. Juan Mata with very astute movement, then realises, I haven't got time to take this down. I'm just going to have to scissor kick it into the back of the net at Anfield.
What's going on in his little brain at that moment? I mean, Di Maria pulls out the number 9, the pitching wedge, and beautiful short game there, and just a perfect pass. And I assume he thinks that Mata's going to control it and try and shoot. But Mata gets himself almost completely horizontal in the middle of the air and just finds the far corner, just beautifully, cleanly. Unlike some on this list, he got this one clean.
Juanfield. I mean, it will forever be remembered. Any United fan that was alive and watching football in 2015 will always know exactly what you mean when you say, the Juanfield goal.
Lovely, lovely. Number 3.
Every United fan alive in 2011 or watching football in 2011 will know exactly what you mean when you say, the Nanny Community Shield goal.
The friendly goal. Listen,
we're not going to relitigate, but suffice to say, if it was just based on the quality of... Oh, no, it wasn't... This featured heavily in the Game of the Decade debate.
Yeah.
Because my belief is it probably sort of deserved... But anyway, listen, we won't... You can go and listen to
that. And any game in which Chris Smalling scores, no, not having it.
He scored in a lot of big games.
This was an absolutely beautiful goal.
It's
involving
a masterpiece. 2
outrageous flicks from Tom Cleverley.
Tom Cleverley was good. That's the truth until the injury. That injury set him back so far, and he never found himself again, really. But he was really good in the youth team. We all were really excited about Tom Cleverley, and then he came into the first team and was pulling business like he was in the build-up with this. I mean, this is Welbeck, Cleverley and Nani combining to absolutely stunning effect.
Tiki-tackering it all around City. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And then just a lovely, lovely chipped finish.
This is Manchester United's 11th game at the new Wembley. They've only won 2 of the previous 10 in 90 minutes. It's actually, if you count the shootout wins, it's 1-5, lost 5. Not exactly a second home for them. Here's Cleverley. And now Rooney. And now Nani. City trying to put up the barricades. Oh, Nani's in. It's brilliant play. It's a wonderful, truly wonderful Wembley goal from Manchester United for Nani in the Community Shield. And in a flash, really, 2-0 up for City has become 2-2.
Oh, it is an aesthetic wonder, this goal. In a way, it's sort of the most perfect aesthetic of any of the goals because it's not a moment of magic. It's a collection of small moments of genius all flowing together with kind of nothing happening. There's no bobble of the ball at any point in the build-up. It's all just absolutely nailed on perfect. And
one point Nani's touch is not perfect. It is not bobble of the ball. It's just not. It's not Berber. It's not Berber soft.
No,
but it was good enough.
His finish was Berber soft, wasn't it? It was like just the gentle lift. And also that fully got us back into that game because that made it 2-2. So at number 2, it's another goal against Manchester City. The world's most brilliant shinner,
Nani. One of the great goals in the history of the Manchester derby.
I mean, I don't know how many times this has got to have had billions and billions of views, this one, all around the world. It's just the moment, the opposition, Nani again, isn't it? Floating it in with a sort of high cross that spins up.
No, it's Nani trying to drill in a cross and it hitting the first man and spinning up into the air.
Floats up. Yeah. And Rooney did the only thing he could do from that position, which was like just nod it back to an onrushing midfielder. No, he leaps like a salmon.
I mean, this is such a distillation of Rooney's absolutely pure football genius, because this is almost not the last flush of it, but the most sort of perfect distillation of like when he was. This is almost the exact moment of Rooney's footballing peak. So he's had the injury. He's had all the end of that season. He's had the frustration about United's signings and he's looking to get out. He's convinced by a combination of Alex Ferguson's emotional blackmail and literal threats on his life to stay at United. Yeah,
and a pile of cash.
His song is not being sung anymore. He's getting abuse from the stands because he's perceived now as like this disloyal traitor. And that all ends because in this one moment he is redeemed. And it's fitting that he held his arms out wide in a crucifix pose, for he sacrificed himself to be reaccepted or something. Well, it's the time of year for it, isn't it, Ed?
Well, yeah. No,
that's the
other one. Yeah.
It was, without doubt... even though, it doesn't come cleanly off his boot, it doesn't matter because it doesn't make it any less of an absolutely unbelievable goal. It does actually use his foot because the ball lands in the sort of... It's cushioned by the top of his foot, which is obviously like above the ball because of the shape of his leg. So it is actually shaped, the direction of the ball travels is shaped by his foot, but the speed of the ball is coming off his shin. It's immense. And would have been a perfectly reasonable candidate for the goal of the decade.
All of them would.
Absolutely. But the one that we've chosen, well, I guess everybody must have worked it out by the process of deduction, right? Because there's no way this couldn't be in the top 5.
Rooney's 50-yarder against West Ham.
Rooney is heavily involved in this one because... the ball, Villa have the ball. It is broken up by United's defence. Comes, I think, to Carrick, who just, talk about recycled possession, just quickly nudges it across to Rooney, who looks up and he sees something. He sees a man who knows what striker movement looks like.
Westwood. Agbonlahor. Given away to Kagawa. Now Rooney. And Percy making a trademark run again. And what a ball to pick him out. And what a finish. A magnificent goal by Robin van Persie.
It's a thing of beauty, the movement. It's just a thing of beauty. Cut the goal out and the pass out and it's still a thing of beauty.
There's a chance that VAR would have VAR'd it. Because
it's very close.
Yeah, it's incredibly close because there's 2 Villa defenders, or maybe even 3. No, I think it's 2, and he runs across both of them from an offside position back, just fractionally back into an onside position, and it's then that Rooney hits the long diagonal over the top of them, and Van Persie runs if you see it from an overhead camera, he runs like a bishop and then like a rook. So it's not like a bent run, it's a diagonal run and then a straight run, and then he does the thing that he does and United win the league.
And look, every part of that is just absolutely perfect. Winning the ball, the quick pass out wide, the 50-yard pass over the top of 2 defenders, the movement and the run, and then just to hit it that clean. Every part of this goal is perfect. It's just absolutely magical.
I still can't believe it worked. Football's so great. Isn't it? When football is good, there is just nothing better than it. And the goal of the decade.
Yes,
it's been a tough decade, but we've seen some absolute scenes, as you would expect. And I'm sure that whether United spend any time at the top of the table in the 2020s, I think for sure we know for sure we're going to see magical scenes over the next 10 years.
Oh, of course we will. They may be far and few between, but in a way that like just kind of helps, doesn't it, with this debate? When we're doing this debate again in 2029, assuming we're still alive by then. We'll see. And Mason Greenwood, we're talking about his beautiful movement to score the winner versus Inter Milan in the European Super Cup. Super League,
the Nissin Noodles,
whatever it's called at that stage, when they've all got their way and broken away.
The Nissin Noodles Global Football Challenge.
That's it, yeah.
Anyway, listen, we've been doing this show for the entire decade, and some of you have been listening for all that time, and we're immensely, immensely grateful for your support, all your encouragement. I mean, we've had so many lovely reviews. It's been, and that's beyond like the messages on Twitter, on Instagram, the emails, just so much incredibly lovely feedback. And it means the absolute world that people would care about us doing this, because it's silly in a way, but it's amazing.
I had a look through our 1-star reviews. We've got 12 of them. Depends on, if you look at the global, with the 500 and something reviews we've got, and 12 1-star ones, and there's some very interesting feedback on there. Some good stuff. Mostly it's about me, to be fair, being some kind of snowflake, who moans about Wayne Rooney every week, something like that.
I feel like one of those is fair, that it's directed at you, and the other one very much isn't, because out of the two of us, I am way more of a snowflake than you are. Anyway, the 12 1-star reviews pale in comparison to the literally hundreds of 5-star reviews. So a massive thanks to everyone that's taken the time out to do that.
And thank you, Paul, for doing all the research on this, because I think you enjoyed yourself.
I really did, and I have to say, the research that I've done on this somewhat pales in comparison to the work that you've put in the last 2 months of the life of this podcast, Ed. Merry winter festival of your choosing to absolutely every single one of you, and have a beautiful 2020, and we'll be back in the new year with another regularly scheduled show.
We certainly will be. Come on, you Reds. Title winners 2020.
Yeah, that's it.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.